Hey guys, another edition of Quarantine with Coaches. Today I'm joined by Nick Pesik, offensive coordinator at UW Stout. Nick is just wrapped up his first year there. Nick, why don't you talk a little bit about your upbringing in football, what you've been doing as a coach?
Yeah, so I graduated Stoughton High School, right about 15 minutes south of Madison. Graduated from there in 2007. Then went and played at Ripon College, proud Red Hawk in the building. Played receiver there for 4 years and got done playing there. Obviously, had the great opportunity to play receiver in a triple option offense, so a ton of targets. But after I got done playing, I kind of knew that after my last year, I knew I wanted to stay in coaching, or I wanted to stay in football, get into coaching. So kind of that spring or that winter, kind of sent out some emails just about to every Division I FCS school, and just looking to get on, whether it be volunteer or be a GA, whatever. I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. And actually had some responses back. Got a ton of no responses, or we don't have everything open right now. We'll put you on file. But actually, there was a coaching change at Northern Illinois University. Coach Dorn came over from Wisconsin, went there to be the head coach. And I just happened to email their receivers coach at the time, Bob Cole, Coach Cole, emailed me right back and said, we just got here. We're looking for help. Why don't you come down for spring ball? So came down during my senior year, went down for a spring ball on a Saturday morning, and actually got put to work right away, snapping balls, whatever it may be. And then that day kind of wrapped up, and they're like, why don't you come back, start June 1st, volunteer. So did that for 2 years, and really did everything at that point as I was a GA. Didn't know any different, and kind of did everything I did the next 2 years as a GA. But was there for 2 years as a volunteer, and then right before our bowl game, there was my second year. There was a coaching change, and Coach Carey, who was the offensive line coach, became now the head coach, offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, and became the head coach as Coach Dorn went to North Carolina State. And then my second 2 years there, I was offensive GA. Spent all 4 years on offense, either with the receivers or with the quarterbacks. Was obviously there for 4 years. And then, obviously loved my time there. Had a ton of fun, learned a ton. And then got my first coaching job at Wisconsin-Eau Claire as a receivers coach, and was there for about 6-7 months. And the first day after the season was over, the whole staff got let go, and actually went back down to NIU to turn in my master's paper, and was just stopping by the office. And Coach Carey is like, well, why don't you stay here? You're getting paid from Eau Claire anyways. You don't have anything else to do, so why don't you stay here for the rest of the year? So I stayed there for 2 regular season games, and then obviously the MAC championship, and then the bowl game. And obviously really fortunate to be able to do that, and really thankful. And then ended up getting on at Wisconsin-Whitewater as the receivers coach, and was there for 3 years. And then this past season have been at Stout as the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. So
Awesome. And you were hired up there maybe a little late in the process. I think you left here around early to mid-March, and you didn't have a ton of time between when you were hired to spring ball. How were you able to develop trust, not only with your coaching staff, but with your players as well in that brief time and during that brief time during spring ball as well?
Yeah, so I got here March 1st, so we had exactly a month before we were going to start spring practice. And obviously, you kind of have a lot of work to do in that month to kind of get everything rolling, especially as a first-time coordinator. So the first thing we did was really in the whole process kind of mapped out what that first month was going to be like from a coaching standpoint, from what things we want to get done before I got the job, just because in the process of interviewing, thought I could potentially be asked about it. What's that month going to look like? So I had something kind of laid out where the things we wanted to get done in that month. But the first thing we did was kind of meet as an entire offensive staff, have them get to know me get to know them, and kind of lay down what I thought this offense, what we wanted this offense to look like, from a culture standpoint in terms of how we want to play, things that we felt were really important to be successful. So we did that right away, kind of laid that down. And then the next couple of days after that, I had them get up on the board or in film and teach me things that they wanted to either keep from the previous year because they had a successful year offensively that year, or things they'd done in the past where they really felt were important, and they liked from a scheme standpoint or formationally, or they want to call things, whatever it may be. So gave them ownership, the rest of the staff of, I'm going to trust you right away. If you believe in something and you stand up on the table for it, then let's do it, right? If it fits in with what we want to do, let's do it. So that was a big thing right away is kind of get them on the board and get them understanding, this is going to be an entire collaborative effort, not just going to be a one-man show. And that was big, I think, for the trust standpoint. And then I met with each member of the offensive staff one-on-one, just to kind of get to know each guy individually, and then two, kind of get what they felt was strengths and weaknesses that they had, things they were good at, things they thought that I could help hold them accountable maybe in some other things, and vice versa, right? I wanted to be an open, collaborative effort. So that was a big thing. And then I also, kind of identified their role, each person, and things that I wanted them to do either in the spring or as we kind of went further in the season or in fall camp. So kind of laid that down and just try to build that one-on-one connection with the coaching staff right away. From a player standpoint, that one's a little more difficult because you get there in March and they're in workouts and you're not able to be around them that much. The one thing we did do is, having the open door policy of come in, let's talk academics, get to know you for 10, 15 minutes, and let's talk about other things besides football, right? So in that first month, trying to get to know, put as many faces to names as we possibly could. I think that was a big thing. And kind of off that is when I first got there, I had our tight ends coach, Coach Daly, put together a list, kind of a picture roster of every guy in offense. So, as after that first week or after those first couple weeks, if I saw somebody in the hallway that was one of our guys on offense, then I could say, hey, what's up, Levy, or what's up, Parker, whatever it may be, just to kind of show that, hey, I'm trying to learn your name. I'm trying to do that the best I can, especially as we got in the spring ball. That was huge, I think.
Awesome. And then, this fall you wrap up your first year as an offensive coordinator. What are some of the biggest lessons you learned as a first-year coordinator this year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is tailoring to your personnel, right? As you get your first opportunity to be a coordinator, obviously you have, depending on how many years you've been in it, you have some things that you really feel like you really want to do, right? Maybe it's a place you come previous. Maybe there was a lot of 12 personnel, downhill run game was big. But maybe at the next place you go, maybe you don't have those bodies, or maybe you have your personnel is better in this area or something else in that aspect. So the biggest thing that I learned and what we learned from this first year is being able to be multiple and being able to play to your personnel strength. I think as you watch kind of our film from the first week when we played St. John's, we're in 11, 12, even 13 personnel at times, which is some things that we did my previous 3 years at Whitewater, right, to the last half of the season, we were much more in 11, we were in 10, we were in 0. We were kind of spreading that thing around because, our receiving core was kind of a really big part of our offense, and we had a lot of explosive players there. So that was a big thing for us, is finding personnel and kind of fitting our scheme and being multiple in our offense, in our scheme, to be able to get our best players the ball in situations where they can be successful. That was the big thing. And I think as the season went on, you saw that develop kind of as the season went. So that's a big thing. And obviously going into year 2 off of that, the first thing we did, one of the first things we did in this off season is we kind of went in for every player we had in our offensive roster, we went over their strengths and their weaknesses, right? So next year, we may look a little different in how we play. Maybe we'll be in a little more 12, maybe we'll be in more 11, whatever it may be. But if injuries come up, now let's find the next piece who we can put in, and let's play to his strengths instead of putting somebody else out there who may, in that situation, may not be a strength. So that's a big thing for us. One, put strengths and weaknesses on paper, so we could really develop our offense this offseason and as we get ready for fall camp, to tailor around our best player's strengths.
One thing you and I have kind of talked about in the last week or so is, ideas essentially of how you've kept your staff engaged, how you've kept your staff being productive, being busy, getting better. Obviously, this video project of mine is one of them. What are some of the things you guys are doing up there to I guess, manage your time and get better during this period?
Yeah, so offensively, feel like I'm grinding these guys out a little bit, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll have a Zoom meeting. We started this week. We were in spring break last week, and obviously all of this stuff is coming down last week. But this week we kind of waited Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're going to meet in the mornings over Zoom and kind of go over some things we want to hit this next month. Is one, we're going to watch each one of our conference games as a staff from this past year, and put down things we liked, things we didn't like, and things we feel like we can attack next year against that defense, right? That's a big thing for us, and kind of begin that game plan for next year a little bit, so we have something as we start game week next year, that we can kind of come to where, in the off season, this is what we like. Does it still fit next year or this week, right? So that's one big thing. We're doing some studies. They have the NFL Game Pass. It's free now online. So we're studying. We have some of our run game guys studying the Titans, and then pass game wise, a couple of us are studying the Chiefs, obviously, and also the Saints. But just looking at some NFL stuff, seeing if it can fit with what we're doing. See if there's some similarities. If there's something they're doing from schematically attacking the defense, or a little wrinkle that we feel like we can fit in, and then we're going to try to do that. And just a big thing that I've kind of looked at already even last week is looking at the Saints is how they play with personnel and how they're so multiple with formations within different personnel. That's a big thing that we liked, and we're kind of diving into more and seeing if other NFL teams are doing that as well, and kind of stressing the defense. So really those are two big things we're doing. And another thing is putting together our position manuals, updating our position manuals. So each position obviously is going to have become an expert at their own position. So
awesome. Well, we're going to try something new today. Thought this might be a fun little activity. Get a little bit more information about you, or something you think is important. We're going to call it rapid fire. Okay, and I'm just going to ask serious questions, probably not more than a sentence or two about each one of them. Okay.
Perfect.
First question: best book you've read in the last year?
Gridiron Genius, Mike Lombardi.
Awesome. If you could emulate one offense in history, college or pro, who would it be?
I'm going to be a prisoner in a moment here and say last year's LSU.
Best mentor?
I'm going to go with Craig Harmon.
Best Twitter follower?
Ooh. The Kansas OC quarterbacks coach, Brett Dearman. Really good stuff right now. QB play and offensive stuff. He's good right now.
Your favorite play call you made during your first year as an OC?
Ooh. Actually, it was in the last game of the year. We ran a little tight end pop pass for like a 25-yard touchdown. That's probably my favorite one.
Yeah. And final question: your career reception total at Ripon College?
Ooh. So just to preface this, I was a split tackle playing receiver in a triple option offense, but I did have
2 sentences.
But I did have a whopping 8 catches.
There we go.
Over the career, so big stats.
Huge stats. Nick, thanks for joining us today on Quarantine with Coaches. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me, Tim. Appreciate it.